Hi guys, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of this A180d Mercedes A-Class. Alright, so yeah, let's start off with the exterior. So with this being the sport model, it's not the AMG line, it's the sport model. You're going to get the standard grille, which doesn't have all of the diamonds and all of the extra stuff, but it does come spec'd with these nice LED headlights. So it's the same headlights that you'd get on the AMG line, so I don't know whether that's a spec or whether it comes standard, but I'd advise you to definitely get it, because they just look better and they make the car look 10 times more modern. With it being the sport model as well, you are left with these fat wheels, and I believe, if I can just look, I'm going to say they're 17s, and yes they are, they're 17-inch alloys, so they're not the most attractive ones, but it's a sport model, you're not paying for the AMG line, so you are going to get that. It still comes again with the LED rear tail lights. On most cars nowadays you just get halogen bulbs in your backlights. These are LED, so the car's been spec'd out really well. So while we're on the exterior, I just want to touch, this also comes with all of these parking sensors, which you can see down there, which is another great thing. And as I said earlier, this is the 180D, so I think it's a 1.5 diesel. The D stands for diesel. The 180, I don't know, don't quote me, and it's definitely not 180 horsepower. So yeah, that's the exterior. Overall, it's a nice car. I'm not a fan of the chrome, and I will be getting my car de-chromed, so more to come on that. But yeah, overall it is a very nice car on the outside, as all Mercedes are. Some people don't really like the rear, but I've learned to like the rear on my current shape, which is now the pre-facelift. With this being the facelift one now, I am kind of warming to it, but overall I've never been a fan of the rear of Mercedes A-Classes, but with the A-Class that I own now, I'm gonna have to love it. It isn't keyless entry, so you still have to press on the fob here, but it is keyless go, so you can just get in, keep the keys in your pocket and just press the start button. But yeah, let's get inside. Okay, so in the interior, as you can see, you're greeted with this lovely long dashboard. It isn't the all-in-one that most people do see pictures of. It is split in half and half. You've got your speedometer here, and obviously you've got your bigger screen here for your radio, your sat nav, whatever you want. You can actually customize it. Let me just punch these lights on so that they stay on all the time. So yeah, let's start off with the top. The steering wheel, with it being a sport model, isn't the flat bottom, so you do have this round steering wheel. It is still okay, and obviously on the steering wheel you've got all of your functions here, such as the home button, which kind of controls the left. So on the left side of the steering wheel, you can see here, that controls the left screen, and on the right hand side, that controls the right screen. So if we start on the left, you can see we've got the volume knob here, which obviously is gonna, Jesus Christ, which is gonna control the volume. You got your, obviously your phone call buttons, hang up and pick up the phone, and you've got your home button. And as you can see, if I press home, it gives me all of these functions here, which is obviously navigation. If I scroll to the right on this little thumb, I don't know what it is, but it's touch sensitive and it's really nice. You got your music, media, you got your radio, you got your navigation, phone settings, blah blah blah. And the same applies on this. This is a trackpad, so I know I've jumped down, but it's got a bit of haptic feedback, so you can feel it like vibrate against you like your phone would when you go through it, which is nice. But the main thing I like about this whole new setup with the new Mercedes is that you don't have to take your hand off the wheel. You do not need to take your hand off the wheel at all, unless you're going to go down here and play with the dynamic settings, sport, comfort, economy and all of that stuff. But yeah, same as on the right. On the right with this, you've got your cruise control here, which is okay. It's normally done on the stalk over here on the older cars, but on the new ones they've kept everything on the steering wheel to keep you in that driver experience. You've got flick up for cruise control and flick down for your limiter. You can set the speeds and reset it, resume it and cancel it. And the same over here, you press the home button and you can see you've got different trips, radio, media, so you can customize what you want to see on this screen. But what I like over here, let me just keep it all over here. If I go through here and I scroll down to themes, if I turn this theme and I say I want the sporty theme, Don't know where it's gone. So that's experience. As you can see there's a little S. That's the experience screen. I press that and it will just change everything on my dash. So everything's now nice and sporty. Let me turn the engine on so I can respond to that. And you can see here, it's giving me some sort of like sport mode screen. So it's in part, but if I rev the car, you can see here, it's giving me a bit of torque and it's giving me all that information. With it being a diesel, I'm not really going to need too much of this information unless you are a fan of all the gadgets. But yeah, overall, it's a nice place to be at the front. And obviously down here, you've got all of your climate control settings here, such as flick up, flick down to control the temperature on the left, and then on this side you control it on the right. Same as the old car, it's exactly the same, other than it being more of this plain sort of style with the vents and everything, and it really looks like a nice place to be. Your heated seats are actually on the driver's side, and while we're here we can also talk about this nice carbon fiber look. So obviously it's fake, it's not real carbon fiber. Down here you can see it's no longer your normal fat USB, and this is something that I've screamed about. The old car in here, you can see you've got the new style USB, and if you do decide to keep your media device in here, that's fine, you can lock that away. But with me just having one phone that I'm going to use for personal and for work, I don't really want to have my phone plugged in and the wire hanging out and over here. But with this, you can plug it in down there and leave this bit here open and just have your phone in there, so when it's time to go, just pull your phone out, as opposed to having your phone here, closing the armrest because you want to lean on it and you're going to bend your cables, which has happened to me time after time. So that's a new thing that they've done, having one here and one in there. So thumbs up to Mercedes, you've done well. So yeah, so now in the rear of the car you can see, I don't know how well you can see, but they have changed a lot in terms of the shape of the window. So let me close this. You can see they've changed the shape, so it's not as slanted as before, which is going to obviously give you a bit of headspace, which is one thing I noticed having my son's car seat in the car. There is a lot more space in terms of roof space in the back. Leg space is kind of the same, to be honest, but again, that really depends on how the driver sits and whether or not they've got long legs or whether they like to look like a gangster. It's entirely up to them. But I feel that this car is a bit more spacious than the current model, my model, and when I'm upgrading my car, obviously I'm going to either get the A35 or the A45 in this shape. I will not be disappointed. In terms of boot space, for me, this boot is definitely bigger. So my boot is the same car obviously, but the boot doesn't look as big as this. So I'm not sure whether it's bigger, but I will pop some dimensions up in terms of litre space, and this car to me looks a lot bigger in terms of boot space than mine. Alright, so last but not least is the party function. So this car is equipped with something called Mercedes Me, which simply means if I say, "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help you?
Turn off my heated seat."
Seat heating is switched off.
That's just amazing. "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help you?
Play Kiss 100. You can see there, it's finding it. I've turned the volume down obviously for certain reasons, but it found it, and yeah, literally you don't have to do anything. So you can see the heaters are off. "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help you?
Turn on the heaters to 27 degrees.
I'm setting the temperature to 27 degrees.
You can't really complain with the car. It's the sport model, which means if you get the AMG line model, it's going to have the harder suspension, but the interior is going to look even better. And obviously it's up to you what sort of design, I don't know what's going on here, what sort of design you want to go for. Shut up now, you're embarrassing me. I'm trying to do a YouTube video. Guys, if you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.